You know that feeling, right? You get this burst of inspiration, you really want to change something, but then, well, life happens, and those big goals just kind of fade away.
Oh, absolutely. You start a new diet, maybe super motivated, and then a week later, you're back on the couch. Same old snacks.
Or you think, I'm finally going to write that novel, and then you just stare at the blank page. Yeah, it's frustrating.
It really is. And I think we often believe that real change needs this huge, dramatic effort, like a massive overhaul overnight.
But what if that's not it? What if the real secret isn't some giant leap, but actually these tiny, almost invisible, incremental changes?
That's exactly the idea, and that's what we're really digging into today.
Right. On this deep dive, we're going deep into James Clear's book, Atomic Habits. It's really groundbreaking stuff. Our mission, for you listening, is to unpack how you can actually use his 4 laws of behavior change.
Yeah, we want to look at the practical side. Specific things like habit stacking, designing your environment.
And really emphasize that identity-based approach he talks about.
Yeah.
It's powerful, but maybe often overlooked.
Definitely. We'll also touch on some common roadblocks, the things that trip us up, and show how these tiny improvements, these little consistent actions, they really do compound into massive long-term results for you.
So let's start with the name itself, Atomic Habits. What does atomic actually mean here?
Okay, so Clear uses atomic in 2 really important ways. First, it means like extremely small, the smallest possible unit, the basic building block of a larger system.
Like an atom is the basic unit of matter.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But second, and this is key, atomic also means the source of immense energy or power. Think, atomic energy.
Ah, okay. So tiny, but also incredibly powerful.
Precisely. So an atomic habit isn't just a small action, it's a routine, something you do regularly, often automatically.
Like brushing your teeth.
Right, it becomes automatic. But it's not just easy, it's also the source of this incredible power and compound growth in your life. It's that tiny little choice repeated that unlocks huge potential. It's fascinating how these small pieces build something so much bigger.
Bigger is the key word there, because that leads right into the power of compounding changes, doesn't it?
It really does. It's maybe one of the most counterintuitive ideas in the book, but it's fundamental. Clear talks about the 1% rule.
Right, the idea that if you get just 1% better each day.
By the end of the year, you're not just a bit better, you're 37 times better. It's exponential growth.
37 times, that's incredible. And the flip side is just as powerful, maybe even a bit scary.
It is stark. If you decline by just 1% each day, maybe making tiny excuses, small errors, you basically end up near 0 over a year.
Wow. So it's not usually one big catastrophic failure. It's the accumulation of those little things, those tiny missteps, repeated day after day.
That's it. Those small choices compound into either amazing results or, well, toxic ones.
Clear uses a great analogy to illustrate this, the airplane one. Can you walk us through that?
Yeah, it's really vivid. Imagine a plane flying from Los Angeles to New York. If the pilot adjusts the heading just 3.5 degrees south at takeoff.
Which sounds tiny, right? Barely noticeable.
Exactly. The nose of the plane might only shift a few feet initially, but over the distance of the entire U.S., that tiny change means you don't land in NYC, you land hundreds of miles away in Washington, D.C.
That really shows how small changes, almost invisible at first, have this massively magnified impact over time or distance.
And it's not always a smooth, straight line to success either, which can be so frustrating when you're doing the work.
Yeah, you feel like you're putting in the effort but seeing nothing.
Which reminds me of his ice cube analogy. Picture an ice cube in a cold room, say 25 degrees Fahrenheit.
Okay.
The temperature slowly creeps up, 26, 27, 28, all the way to 31 degrees. What happens to the ice cube?
Nothing. Still solid ice.
Right, no visible change at all. But then it hits 32 degrees.
And suddenly it starts to melt.
Exactly. That single degree shift, which seemed no different than the previous ones, unlocks this huge obvious change. Clear calls this the Plateau of Latent Potential.
Ah, I like that phrase. So you're building up potential, unseen, under the surface, during that plateau phase.
You are. All that effort wasn't wasted. It was just storing energy. And then you hit the breakthrough point.
Which leads to another key insight. Our outcomes are really just lagging measures of our habit.
Yes, that's such a critical point. Your net worth today, it's a lagging measure of your financial habits over years. Your weight, a lagging measure of your eating habits.
Your knowledge is a lagging measure of your learning habits. The clutter in your house reflects your cleaning habits.
It applies across the board. The core truth for you is you get what you repeat. Your daily choices, your systems are what deliver your future results. Want to know where you'll be in 10 years? Look at the trajectory of your tiny daily actions.
That's profound, actually. Those small, seemingly insignificant actions are always adding up. Patience isn't just nice to have. It's essential because the big results often only show up after a long period of that unseen accumulation.
Absolutely. And this compounding effect isn't just for money or weight loss, is it?
No, definitely not. Where else does it show up?
Well, knowledge is a big one. Reading one book won't make you a genius overnight, obviously.
Right.
But committing to learning consistently, that's transformative. Each new idea doesn't just add information. It connects with old ideas. It changes how you think. It's like building this mental lattice work that gets stronger and more interconnected with every new piece.
That makes sense. And relationships too, surely.
Oh, absolutely. Relationships compound. Think
Mhm.
about it. People tend to mirror your behavior.
Yeah.
If you consistently help others, offer support.
They're more likely to help you back.
Exactly. Just being a little bit kinder, a little more thoughtful in your interactions day after day builds this incredibly strong network over time. It's social compounding.
Okay, so if these small repeated actions and their compounding effects are so powerful, Clear makes a really interesting, maybe even controversial point. Forget about goals. Focus on systems instead.
Yeah, that can feel really backward, can it? We're always told to set smart goals, be specific, aim high.
Right, we want to lose weight,
Yeah.
build a business, spend more time with family, and we think setting the goal is step one. So where does that approach fall short?
Well, Clear points out something crucial. Winners and losers often have the exact same goals. Every single athlete at the Olympics wants the gold medal.
Of course.
Every team in the Tour de France wants to win. If everyone has the same goal, the goal itself can't be the thing that separates the winners.
Okay. So what does separate them?
It's their systems.
Yeah.
Think about the British cycling team. They dominated for years, winning Tours, Olympics, World Championships. It wasn't because they suddenly wanted it more than anyone else. No, it was because they implemented this incredibly detailed system of tiny 1% improvements in everything. Bike seats, tire traction, massage gels, even the pillows the riders slept on. Goals give you direction, but systems are what actually drive progress.
Okay, so let's define that. What exactly is a system in this context?
A system is simply the collection of your daily habits, your processes, that lead you towards that goal. So, for a writer, the goal might be finishing a book.
Right.
The system is their writing schedule, how they outline chapters, their editing process, when and where they write each day. It's the process you follow.
Like Bill Walsh, the football coach, said, the score takes care of itself.
Exactly. Focus on executing the process, on getting better within your system each day, and the results, the score, will follow. Goals point the way, but systems get you there.
This ties into what might be the deepest level of change Clear talks about. Identity-based habits. It takes the idea of systems even further, doesn't it?
It really does. He uses this analogy of an onion with 3 layers of behavior change.
An onion. Okay.
Yeah. So the outermost layer is outcome change. This is about your results, losing weight, publishing the book, winning the game. Most goals live here.
Got it. Layer 1. Results.
Then the middle layer is process change. This is about what you do, your habits and systems. Starting a new workout routine, decluttering your desk each day, meditating. Most habits we try to build are focused here.
Layer 2. Processes, habits.
But the deepest layer, the core of the onion, is identity change. This is about your beliefs, your self-image, your worldview, what you believe about yourself and others. This is where lasting change really happens.
And most people focus on the outer layers, right? I want this outcome, so I'll do this process.
Exactly. They think, I want to be thin, outcome, so if I follow this diet process, I'll get there. They often don't address the underlying beliefs that drive their behavior in the first place.
So the shift is from focusing on what you want to achieve to focusing on who you wish to become.
Precisely. It's subtle but profound. Think about quitting smoking. Someone offers you a cigarette. You could say, no thanks, I'm trying to quit.
Okay, that's process outcome focused. I'm trying.
Right. But what if you say, no thanks, I'm not a smoker?
Ah, that's different. That's identity. Smoking isn't part of who you are anymore.
Exactly. It signifies a fundamental shift. It changes the whole game because your behavior needs to align with your identity.
And this is so important because we often reinforce negative identities without even realizing it, don't we? Saying things like, oh, I'm terrible with names, or I'm just not a morning person.
We do. And when you repeat those stories for years, they become ingrained beliefs. You start resisting actions because that's just not who I am. There's this internal pressure to stay consistent with your self-image, even if it's limiting you.
So the powerful question Clear suggests we ask ourselves is,
Who is the type of person who could achieve the outcome I want?
okay, so instead of I want to write a book, it's who is the type of person who writes books?
Right. And the answer might be someone who's consistent or someone who meets deadlines. Then your focus shifts to building the identity of a consistent person rather than just focusing on the book itself.
You become the kind of person who does that thing.
Yes. It leads to beliefs like, I'm the kind of leader who empowers my team, or I'm the kind of parent who is present with my kids.
There's a great real-world example in the book about his friend who lost a lot of weight.
Oh yeah, the friend who lost over 100 pounds. Her secret weapon was constantly asking herself one simple question. What would a healthy person do?
All day long.
All day long. Would a healthy person take the stairs or the elevator? Would a healthy person order fries or a salad? She used it as her guide for every little choice.
And the idea was if she acted like a healthy person consistently.
Eventually, she would become a healthy person.
Yeah.
And it worked. It totally transformed her identity and her results.
It makes so much sense. So ultimately, our habits aren't just about getting better results. They're actually shaping who we believe we are.
That's the core message. Every single action you take is like casting a vote for the type of person you want to become. You literally become your habits.
Which brings us beautifully to the practical side. The 4 laws of behavior change. These are the rules, the framework for actually building these identity-shaping habits.
Right, because knowing who you want to be is one thing, but consistently doing the things that get you there, that's the tricky part.
Absolutely. So before we jump into the first law, we need to understand the basic mechanics of how habits work, right? The habit loop.
Yes, understanding the loop is crucial. It goes back to work by psychologist Edward Thorndike around 1898. He did these experiments with cats in puzzle boxes.
Puzzle boxes.
Yeah, basically a box a cat could escape from to get food, but only by doing something specific, like pulling a string or pressing a lever.
And what do the cats do?
Well, initially they'd just explore randomly, poke around, sniff things, until purely by accident they'd hit the lever or pull the string. The door opens, they get the food.
Ah, the reward.
Exactly. And the moment they got that unexpected reward, their brain started working, basically asking, wait, that was good. What did I do right before that happened?
So they start connecting the action with the reward.
Precisely. That's how habits form. They're mental shortcuts based on experience. Your brain learns to automate solutions to recurring problems to save mental energy. It pushes these routine actions into the background, freeing up your conscious mind.
Okay, so what are the steps in this loop?
Clear breaks it down into 4 simple steps: cue, craving, response, and reward.
Cue, craving, response, reward. Okay.
1. Cue. This is the trigger. The signal that predicts a reward is coming, like your phone buzzing.
Okay, the buzz of the cue.
2. Craving. This is the motivation, the desire. You don't crave the buzz itself. You crave the information in the message, the feeling of connection, or maybe reducing uncertainty. Cravings are about changing your internal state.
So the buzz cue triggers the desire, craving to see the message.
3. Response. This is the actual habit, the action or thought. You pick up the phone and read the text. Whether you actually do it depends on motivation and, crucially, how easy it is.
Right, if the phone's buried in your bag, maybe you don't respond immediately.
Exactly. Friction matters. And 4, reward. This satisfies the craving and reinforces the loop. Reading the message gives you the information you wanted. Your brain says, okay, picking up the phone when it buzzes, it's good. The reward teaches your brain the action was worthwhile.
And the key thing is, all 4 stages need to be there for the habit to stick, right?
Absolutely. If any stage is weak, the habit breaks down. No cue, it never starts, no craving, no motivation, too difficult, you won't do it, no satisfying reward, you won't repeat it. It's a constant feedback cycle.
And it's all driven by prediction, isn't it? Our brain is constantly predicting what will happen next.
It really is. Our behavior isn't just about objective reality, it's about how we interpret things and the predictions we make. That's why the same cues say seeing a pack of cigarettes can trigger an intense craving in one person and disgust in another. It depends on the predicted outcome.
Okay, that makes sense. The prediction leads to the feeling, the craving, which drives the action.
Yep, you act when you predict you'll feel better in a different state.
So with that habit loop in mind, cue, craving, response, reward. Let's dive into the first law. Make it obvious.
Right, and it sounds simple, but so many of our habits, especially the bad ones, run on autopilot. We're often not even consciously aware of the cues that trigger them.
We just do things because we've always done them without thinking if it's actually serving us. The more automatic it is, the less we notice it.
Totally. Clear shares some funny examples, like the retail clerk who was so used to cutting up gift cards after processing them that she accidentally cut a customer's actual credit card in half.
Oh no.
Or the former lifeguard who sometimes found himself yelling, "Walk!" at kids running near water, even when he wasn't on duty anymore. The cues were just so deeply ingrained.
So how do we make the good habits more obvious? What are the strategies?
One really effective one is using implementation intentions. This means getting super specific about when and where you'll perform a habit.
Not just I'll exercise more, but something concrete.
Exactly. There was this great British study on exercise in 2001. They had three groups. One just tracked their exercise, another tracked and read about the benefits and motivation group.
Right.
But the third group did the same, plus they had to write down a specific plan. During the next week, I will partake in at least 20 minutes of vigorous exercise on specific day, at specific time, in specific place.
And the results.
Huge difference. In the first two groups, only about 38% exercised at least once a week. But in the group with the specific plan, 91%.
Wow, 91%. Just from writing down the when and where.
Yeah. Being specific makes it obvious. It helps you mentally prepare and resist distractions. Your brain knows, okay, Tuesday at 6 p.m. at the gym, that's exercise time.
Another strategy you mentioned earlier is habit stacking. How does that work?
This builds on something called the Diderot effect. The idea that one action often triggers a cascade of related actions. Like you buy a new couch and suddenly you need new cushions, a new rug.
Ah, yes, the spiral of consumption.
Right. Habit stacking uses that natural tendency. You link a new habit you want to build onto an existing habit you already do automatically.
Okay, so you piggyback the new habit onto an old one.
Exactly. The formula is simple. After I current habit, I will new habit.
Give us some examples.
Okay. After I pour my morning coffee, I will meditate for 1 minute. Or after I take off my work shoes, I will change into my workout clothes. Or even when the phone rings, cue current habit, I will take one deep breath and smile, new habit, before answering.
The key seems to be choosing the right existing habit as the cue, right? Something reliable.
Definitely. You need a cue that happens consistently at the right time and place for the new habit. Trying to stack meditation onto brushing your teeth might work, but maybe not if your mornings are pure chaos.
Okay, implementation intentions, habit stacking. What's the third strategy for making it obvious?
Design your environment. This is huge. Our environment is like this invisible hand shaping our behavior constantly. Psychologist Kurt Lewin said it best. Behavior is a function of the person in their environment. We change based on the world around us more than we realize.
Can you give an example of that?
Yeah, the hospital cafeteria study by Anne Thorndike is a classic. They wanted staff and visitors to make healthier choices, but without relying on willpower.
So no lectures or posters.
Nope. They just changed the choice architecture. They added bottled water to the refrigerators right next to the cash registers, which previously only had soda. They also put baskets of water near the food stations.
Just made water more visible and accessible.
Exactly. And what happened? Over 3 months, soda sales dropped over 11%, and water sales jumped nearly 26%, just by making the healthy choice the obvious, easy choice.
That's powerful. And it links to how dominant our vision is, right?
Absolutely. We have something like 11 million sensory receptors, and maybe 10 million are for sight. Vision is massive. So small changes in what you see create big changes in what you do.
So the practical advice is prime your environment. Make the cues for good habits visible and cues for bad habits invisible.
Right. Want to eat healthier? Leave fruit out on the counter, not hidden in the crisper. Want to read more? Put your book on your pillow. Want to use your phone less at night? Charge it in another room. Out of sight, out of mind.
Clear also talks about creating separate spaces for different habits.
Yeah, he shares his own story about working from home. When he worked on the couch or the kitchen table, the lines blurred between work and relaxation.
I can relate to that.
But when he created a dedicated office space, work happened in there, and personal life happened out there. Each context became associated with a specific mode, making it easier to switch off. Separate spaces create clearer mental boundaries.
Okay, making bad habits invisible is the flip side, the inversion of making good habits obvious. That idea of out of sight, out of mind seems really critical for breaking bad habits.
It is. Trying to resist temptation constantly just drains your willpower. It's far easier to avoid the cue in the first place.
So we've made the good habits obvious. Now, how do we tackle the second law? Make it attractive. How do we make ourselves want to do these things?
This involves tapping into our brain's reward system. We can learn from Nico Tinbergen's work with herring gulls.
The gulls. Tell me more.
So, gull chicks naturally peck at a red spot on their mother's beak to get food. Tinbergen found they'd peck even more frantically at a fake beak, just a stick with 3 red stripes, than at their actual mother's beak.
Why?
It was a supernormal stimulus, an exaggerated version of the cue that was even more appealing than the real thing.
And we have modern supernormal stimuli everywhere, don't we?
Oh, absolutely. Processed foods are a prime example. They're engineered with things like dynamic contrast, like the crunch and creaminess of an Oreo, which keeps our brains interested way longer than natural foods do.
Our brains just aren't designed for these hyperpalatable foods.
Or for the concentrated pleasures of modern life, junk food, potent alcohol, immersive video games, endless social media feeds. They hijack our reward pathways much more intensely than the natural rewards our brains evolved for.
And the key chemical messenger here is dopamine, the anticipation molecule.
Exactly. The Olds and Milner rat experiments from the 50s showed this dramatically. Block dopamine. Rats lost all motivation, wouldn't even drink, flood it. They'd press a lever hundreds of times an hour for another hit.
Wow.
And the crucial thing is dopamine isn't just released when you get the reward. It spikes in anticipation of the reward. A gambler feels the rush before placing the bet. It's the wanting, the craving that drives the action.
Sometimes the anticipation feels even better than the actual reward.
Yeah.
Like dreaming about a vacation versus actually being on it.
Totally. That wanting is the engine. So to make a habit attractive, we need to boost the anticipation. One way is temptation bundling.
Okay, what's that?
You pair something you want to do with something you need to do.
Like hiding vegetables in a smoothie.
Kind of. More like, say you love watching trashy reality TV, but you need to exercise. The rule becomes you can only watch your favorite reality show while you're on the treadmill or stationary bike.
Ah, so you link the pleasure you want with the habit you need.
Right. Or maybe you only get to listen to your favorite podcast while you're doing chores. Or you only get that fancy pedicure while you catch up on boring work emails. You bundle the temptation with the necessary habit.
Making the necessary habit more attractive by association. I like it. What else?
Another huge factor is our social environment. We need to join an attractive social group. Humans are fundamentally tribal. We want to fit in, get approval. Being cast out was historically a death sentence.
So we naturally imitate others.
We do, especially 3 groups. 1, the closers are friends and family. Their habits rub off on us, whether it's weight gain, smoking, or even happiness levels.
Okay, proximity matters.
The majority. We have a deep-seated urge to conform. Think of the Ash conformity experiments, where people agreed with obviously wrong answers just to fit in with the group.
Peer pressure is real.
And 3, the powerful, those we admire or see as having high status. We imitate people we look up to.
So the practical takeaway is to surround yourself with people whose habits you want to adopt.
Exactly. Find a culture where your desired behavior is the normal behavior. The Polgar sisters, the chess prodigies, are a great example. Their parents created this immersive chess environment where obsession was normal, celebrated. They thrived because they belonged to a tribe where chess was the shared identity.
So find your tribe. Join a running group, a book club, a writer's workshop, whatever aligns with the habit you want to build. Makes it a shared journey.
It transforms it from a solo mission into a collective one, reinforcing that identity.
Now, for the inversion, making bad habits unattractive. How do we do that?
One simple but powerful technique is to reframe your mindset. How you frame things matters hugely. We often talk about things we have to do. I have to go to this meeting. I have to wake up early.
Yeah, sounds like a drag.
But what if you change one word? I get to go to this meeting. I get to wake up early.
Get to instead of have to. That shifts the feeling from burden to opportunity.
It really does. You can also reframe habits by highlighting their benefits instead of their drawbacks. Exercise isn't just draining, it's building strength and relieving stress. Saving money isn't sacrifice, it's building future freedom.
So you focus on the positive aspects to make it feel more appealing.
Exactly. You can even create small rituals to shift your mindset. Clear talks about his pregame baseball routine, stretching, throwing. It warmed him up physically, sure, but the main benefit was mental. It signaled game time, triggering focus and competitiveness. The ritual itself became attractive because it led to a desired state.
Okay, we've made it obvious. We've made it attractive. What's the third law?
Make it easy. This is about reducing friction, smoothing the path to the desired action.
Because we naturally take the path of least resistance.
We absolutely do. Clear uses a great study about photography students to illustrate the difference between action versus motion.
Action versus motion.
Yeah. One group was graded purely on the quantity of photos they submitted. The other group was graded on producing one single, perfect, quality photo.
Okay, quantity versus quality. Who took the better photos?
Surprisingly, the quantity group produced all the best photos. Why? Because they were constantly shooting, experimenting, learning from mistakes, they were taking action.
While the quality group.
Spent most of their time speculating about perfection, theorizing, planning they were in motion, but not really doing the thing. Motion feels productive, but only action produces results. Researching diets is motion. Eating healthy is action.
That's a key distinction. And the way habits form is through repetition, right? Frequency, not just time.
Absolutely. It's the reps that count. Like
Yeah.
those London taxi drivers developing larger hippocampi from constantly navigating. Practice paves the neural pathways, making the behavior easier and more automatic over time. Repetition literally rewires your brain.
So to make habits easy, the main strategy is reduce friction.
Yes. Minimize the number of steps between you and the good habit. Make it as effortless as possible. If you want to go to the gym, choose one that's on your route to work, not one that requires a detour.
Make it flow with your existing routine.
Exactly. Think about why services like meal delivery or ride sharing are so popular. They remove friction points, planning meals, grocery shopping, cooking, parking, navigating. They automate or simplify steps for you.
Even governments use this. That example of the British tax forms.
Right. Just changing the email link from a general web page to a direct link to the form significantly increased tax compliance. Reducing one tiny step made a multi-million-pound difference. The easier you make the right thing to do, the more likely it is to happen.
So priming the environment is key here too, setting things up in advance.
Definitely. Lay out your workout clothes the night before, chop vegetables for the week on Sunday, keep your running shoes by the door, make the next action easy.
Which leads nicely to the 2-minute rule. This sounds intriguing.
It's a brilliant way to overcome procrastination and just get started. The idea is, when you start a new habit, it should take less than 2 minutes to do.
Less than 2 minutes. How does that help with bigger goals?
It's about mastering the start of the habit. Think of Twyla Tharp, the famous choreographer. Her habit wasn't the grueling 2-hour workout itself. Her habit was hailing the cab to go to the gym.
That was the ritual, the 2-minute action.
Yes. Once she did that easy first step, the rest followed naturally. Clear does the same. His habit isn't the workout, it's changing into his workout clothes at 5:15 p.m. That's the gateway.
These small choices at the beginning, these decisive moments, set the trajectory for everything else.
They really do. Choosing to put on running shoes versus collapsing on the couch. Choosing to open a book versus opening social media. The 2-minute rule gets you past that initial resistance.
So read before bed each night becomes read one page. Do 30 minutes of yoga becomes take out my yoga mat.
Exactly. Run 3 miles becomes put on my running shoes. You focus on just showing up. Doing something, even for 2 minutes, reinforces the identity. You become the person who doesn't miss workouts, even if it's just one push-up. Standardize the habit first, then optimize it later. You can't improve a habit that doesn't exist.
Okay, and the inversion. Making bad habits difficult.
This is where commitment devices come in. These are choices you make now to lock yourself into better behavior later.
Like Odysseus tying himself to the mast to resist the sirens.
Exactly. A classic example. Victor Hugo, facing that deadline for The Hunchback of Notre Dame, had his assistant lock away all his clothes except a large shawl.
So he literally couldn't go outside.
Right. He made procrastination impossible by increasing the friction dramatically. He was forced to stay in and write.
What are some modern examples?
Buying snacks in small individual packages instead of large bags to prevent mindless eating. Using software to block distracting websites during work hours. Leaving your credit cards at home when you go to the mall. Voluntarily putting yourself on a ban list for casinos.
It's about increasing the effort required for the bad habit.
Or automating good behavior, like John Henry Patterson inventing the cash register. It wasn't just about tracking sales, it made it incredibly difficult for his employees to steal. It automated honesty.
There are also one-time actions that make future good habits easier, right?
Yes, things that require effort up front but pay off repeatedly. Installing a water filter for easy access to clean water. Setting up automatic savings transfers or bill payments. Unsubscribing from tempting email lists. These automate good choices or eliminate bad ones with a single decision.
Okay, we've made it obvious, attractive, and easy. What's the fourth and final law?
Make it satisfying. This is the crucial payoff step. The cardinal rule of behavior change is what is immediately rewarded gets repeated. What is immediately punished gets avoided.
Our brains are wired for immediate gratification.
They absolutely are, and this creates a conflict. Good habits often involve paying a price now, effort, discomfort for a reward later, health, knowledge, money. Bad habits are often the reverse. Reward now, pleasure, relief, cost later, hangover, debt, poor health.
And in the moment of decision, the immediate outcome usually wins. That's hyperbolic discounting.
Precisely. We know long-term benefits are good, but our present moment brain prioritizes immediate pleasure or pain avoidance. People who are better at delaying gratification generally do better in life, but it's hard.
So the trick is to find a way to bring the reward forward, to make the good habit feel good now.
Exactly. You need to add a little bit of immediate pleasure or satisfaction to the habits that have delayed returns. This is where using immediate reinforcement comes in.
You need to feel successful right away, even in a small way.
Yes. That feeling of success signals to your brain, hey, that was worthwhile, let's do it again. Especially in the early stages when the long-term benefits aren't obvious, yet you don't feel stronger after one gym session. You need an immediate reward to keep you going.
Like the hand-washing study in Pakistan.
Perfect example. People knew washing hands was important, but compliance was low. When they introduced Safeguard soap, which lathered well and smelled nice.
The act of washing itself became more pleasant, more satisfying.
Right, and hand washing rates went up significantly. You can engineer this for yourself. Create a visual tracker, give yourself a small treat, or use that savings trick. Skip the expensive coffee, immediately transfer $5 to a fun money account. You make the act of not doing the bad habit immediately rewarding.
Making doing nothing satisfying.
Clever.
Another strategy is habit tracking. How does that help make things satisfying?
Tracking works on multiple laws, actually. It makes the habit obvious. Seeing the streak reminds you. It makes it attractive. You don't want to break the chain.
Yeah.
And crucially, it makes it satisfying.
How so?
The mere act of checking off the box, recording the workout, logging the food, it provides immediate positive feedback. It feels good to see yourself making progress. Research shows people who track things like weight loss or quitting smoking are way more successful.
But there's a potential pitfall here, isn't there? Goodhart's law.
Yes, definitely something to watch out for. Goodhart's law says, when a measure becomes a target, it ceases to be a good measure. You don't want to become obsessed with the number itself, hitting the metric at all costs, even if it means sacrificing the actual goal.
Like focusing solely on steps counted, even if it means just pacing around your living room instead of doing meaningful exercise.
Exactly. Measurement should guide you, provide feedback, but not become the sole focus. It's a tool, not the ultimate goal.
Okay, and the inversion. Make bad habits immediately unsatisfying. How do we apply immediate consequences?
Pain is a very effective teacher. If failing has immediate, unpleasant consequences, we learn quickly to avoid it. If it's painless, we tend to ignore it.
Like Roger Fisher's thought experiment about the nuclear codes.
Yeah, that's a chilling but powerful illustration. If the president had to personally kill someone with a knife to get the launch codes implanted near their heart, the immediacy and horror of that consequence would make launching nukes almost unthinkable. It highlights how immediate pain shapes decisions.
So how can we apply that maybe less drastically?
Through things like habit contracts. These are formal or informal agreements where you state your intention and the negative consequence if you fail.
Like putting money on the line.
That's a common one. Brian Harris, an entrepreneur, made a contract with his wife and trainer to lose weight. If he missed his targets for logging food or workouts, he faced specific punishments. Paying his trainer, having to dress up uncomfortably for work, even wearing the hat of a rival sports team.
Ouch. Public commitment and painful consequences.
Very effective. Even just having an accountability partner works wonders. Simply knowing someone else is watching, someone you respect, creates an immediate social cost to slacking off. You don't want to let them down or look bad.
Like Margaret Cho doing a daily joke challenge with a friend, or Thomas Frank's automated "I'm lazy" tweet if he overslept.
Exactly. We care deeply about the opinions of others, so leveraging that social pressure can make inaction immediately unsatisfying.
Okay, so we've got the 4 laws down. Make it obvious, attractive, easy, and satisfying. That's the core toolkit. But what about sticking with it for the long haul? How do we sustain habits and keep improving?
That's where some advanced tactics come in. One is really understanding the truth about talent and personality. genes play a role. They don't determine your destiny, but they do influence your areas of opportunity.
Meaning some things will naturally be easier or more satisfying for you based on your predispositions, like Michael Phelps' body being suited for swimming.
Precisely. Your genes might make certain skills easier to learn or certain activities more enjoyable. The key is to play a game where your natural strengths give you an edge.
So it's about building habits that fit your personality. Don't just jump on the latest trend if it doesn't resonate with you.
Right. If you hate running but love dancing, build your fitness habit around dancing. If you prefer reading history over business books, lean into that. Habits have to be enjoyable or at least tolerable long term. Find the version that works for you.
And this links to finding a game where the odds are in your favor. How do you figure that out?
It involves a period of exploration followed by exploitation. Try lots of different things initially, like sampling different subjects in school or dating different people. See what clicks, what comes easily, what feels energizing.
And ask yourself some key questions.
Yeah. What seems fun to me but looks like work to others? Where do I feel to get better results than the average person? What activities make me lose track of time? When have I felt truly authentic?
And if you can't find that perfect game,
Create one. Scott Adams, the Dilbert creator, is the master of this. He wasn't the best artist or the funniest comedian, but he could draw and write jokes and understood the business world. That unique combination created a niche only he could fill.
so combine your skills in a unique way to reduce competition. Win by being different, not just better.
Exactly. Find your unique intersection.
Another key for staying motivated is the Goldilocks rule. What's that about?
It's about finding the sweet spot of difficulty. We experience peak motivation when we're working on tasks that are right on the edge of our current abilities. Not too hard, that's discouraging, but not too easy. That's boring.
Just, right, like Goldilocks porridge.
Exactly. It's related to the Yerkes-Dodson law in psychology. Optimal performance happens at a moderate level of arousal between boredom and anxiety.
Like Steve Martin gradually expanding his comedy routine, always adding just a little new, challenging material alongside the guaranteed laughs.
Perfect example. It kept him engaged, learning, and motivated because he was constantly operating in that just manageable difficulty zone. Enough success to feel good, enough challenge to stay focused.
But even when you find that zone, there's another big threat, isn't there? Something unexpected.
Yes. The greatest threat to success isn't failure, it's boredom.
Boredom. Really?
Absolutely. As habits become automatic, as you master a skill, the process inevitably becomes less interesting. The novelty wears off. Even top performers feel bored or unmotivated sometimes.
So what separates the pros from the amateurs?
Professionals stick to the schedule even when they don't feel like it. Amateurs let moods in life interfere. Professionals show up, do the reps, even when it's boring or difficult. They embrace the routine of mastery.
Can things like variable rewards help with boredom?
They can help maintain interest, yes. Think slot machines, the unpredictable payouts keep people hooked. While variable rewards don't create the initial craving, they can keep things feeling fresh and reduce monotony once a habit is established. The key is that feeling of possibility.
Okay, so manage difficulty, fight boredom. What else is crucial for long-term improvement?
Reflection and review. You need systems for checking in on your progress and making adjustments. Without reflection, it's easy to make excuses or rationalize failures.
Like Pat Riley's career best effort program with the Lakers.
Exactly. They meticulously tracked stats, compared them to past performance, and challenged players for just 1% improvement. That constant feedback loop, that awareness, drove their success.
It makes you conscious of your performance and where you can tweak things.
Right. Top performers do this constantly. Marathoner Eliud Kipchoge reviews detailed notes after every single practice. Swimmer Katie Ledecky tracks everything: sleep, nutrition, competitors' times. Comedian Chris Rock tests hundreds of jokes, meticulously noting what works and what doesn't.
So we need our own reflection practices. Clear suggests a couple, right?
Yeah, he does an annual review each December, looking back at habits tracked, articles written, workouts done, places visited, and asking, what went well? What didn't go well? What did I learn?
Okay, a yearly check-in.
And then 6 months later, an integrity report. This involves revisiting his core values and asking, what are my values? Am I living in alignment with them right now? How can I set a higher standard?
That sounds really powerful for staying aligned with your identity.
It is. These periodic reviews prevent that slow drift off course and ensure you're consciously becoming the person you intend to be.
And finally, there's a really interesting piece of advice about identity itself.
Yes. Keep your identity small. Don't let any single belief or role athlete, CEO, vegan, political affiliation become too large a part of who you are.
Why is that risky?
Because if that single identity is challenged or taken away, you get injured, lose the job, change your diet, it can trigger an existential crisis. You become brittle.
So how do you keep it small or flexible?
Redefine yourself more broadly. Instead of I'm a soldier, maybe it's I'm the type of person who is disciplined, serves others, and leads. Instead of I'm the CEO, maybe I'm the type of person who builds and creates things.
So the identity can adapt even if the specific role changes. It prevents your self-worth from being tied too tightly to one thing.
Exactly. It allows you to adapt and grow throughout life's changes rather than having your identity shattered.
Wow, what a deep dive this has been. From the power of 1% improvements and focusing on systems to the core idea of identity and then the practical steps of the 4 laws. It's really a comprehensive framework.
It truly is. Thinking about how to make good habits obvious, attractive, easy, and satisfying, and the inverse for bad habits, gives you such a clear roadmap for making real, lasting change.
And remembering those strategies, habit stacking, environment design, temptation bundling, the 2-minute rule, immediate rewards, accountability partners. It's all about making the right choices easier and more appealing.
Absolutely. It's less about heroic willpower and more about smart design, creating systems that nudge you in the right direction almost automatically.
And that final thought seems key. Desire might get you started, but it's that feeling of satisfaction, of pleasure, that keeps you going.
That's the engine for long-term consistency. The journey isn't about finding motivation once. It's about building systems that make progress feel good, even inevitable, long after the initial excitement fades.
So the question for everyone listening is, what's one tiny change, one atomic habit you can start today? What's one small vote you can cast for the person you want to become?
Because it really is those small, consistent, compounding actions that build the future you want. Start small, stay consistent.